In 1918, in the Yoruba city of Abeokuta, thousands of women stood up to both their king and the British Empire. Their weapon wasn't violence, but unity, and their revolt changed the course of colonial rule in Nigeria. The Egba people had a proud tradition of self-governance. Their markets were dominated by women traders, who weren't just sellers, but economic powerhouses. They controlled food distribution, long-distance trade, and held vast influence in their communities. But colonial intrusion brought new burdens. The Alake, issued by Alake, acting under British influence, introduced direct taxation on women traders. For the women, this wasn't just an economic blow. It was an attack on their independence and a betrayal of Egba tradition, where women had always enjoyed a voice in politics through organizations like the Yoruba Council. When tax collectors came, the women rose in defiance. Thousands left their markets and stormed the Alake's palace. Their methods were uniquely African. They sang satirical songs to shame corrupt chiefs. They performed rituals of protest, stripping themselves partially as a sign of anger and dishonor. And they occupied public spaces, refusing to disperse until their demands were heard. The revolt spread across Abeokuta, with an estimated 10,000 women joining the demonstrations. It wasn't just a protest against taxes. It was a mass rejection of colonial exploitation and local complicity. Under relentless pressure, the Alake was forced to suspend the taxation scheme. The British, shaken by the scale of resistance, were reminded that ruling Nigeria would never be simple. The women had won, not through violence, but through sheer unity and fearless defiance. The Egba Women's Revolt was one of the first organized women's uprisings in colonial Africa. It laid the foundation for later movements. Most famously, the Egba Women's Riot of 1929. These women proved that African resistance wasn't just fought on battlefields. It was sung in markets, shouted in palaces, and carried on the backs of fearless mothers and daughters. But that wasn't the end. 30 years later, another generation of Egba women, led by Fumileyo Ransom Kuti, would rise again, this time forcing a king to his knees. This is AfriEye, uncovering Africa's hidden history. Subscribe, follow, and share, because these voices must never be forgotten.